consistency. Same with ByuN, really. I don't think there's a single player I'd put ByuN or Solo up against and be like surprised if they win a series against them. It's just, can they do that consistently? Can they deliver on that high level all the time? And these two definitely struggle there more than anything. Onsyde Gaming Solar in the bottom left-hand corner of the map. The scoreboard's the wrong way around. It's in the top right. It is Shopify Rebellion's ByuN. Solar has done it all, of course, in the World Team League. I mean, he is probably one of the most accomplished players when you really go back to the World Team League. He's been in season MVP. I mean, yeah, you think back to just the World Team League in general, and he's won it with TSG in the first season. He was season MVP, playoff MVP. He won it with TvZ Gaming a couple years ago. He's repeatedly been to the top of the playoffs. He has been, like I say, just one of the greats in this event as of over time. He won 2 of the All-Star events, which we used to have for this as well, 2019 and 2020. So, he's also been great in kind of the individual aspect of the team league. When we've had that in the past, that's not something we do anymore. But yeah, Solar has been just, in the World Team League, one of the very best you can get. So let's see if he can do today against ByuN, who is also just very good in the team league. Obviously, ByuN being on the Shopify Rebellion since returning from the military, so he's only representing them. Their best result, a top 3 finish in the winter 2021. And consistently, though, bringing the Rebellion to the top of the playoffs. They have usually very good group stages, the Rebellion. Only to not quite make it much further along in the playoffs once they get there. Well, TvZ, we mentioned Waterfall. You have to mention it. It's a short map, great for Terran pushes. It's a small map, not a lot of bases, great for Terran late game, because the Zerg late game just can't get out of control. Everything about this, to start with at the very least, points straight toward a advantage to ByuN. But as time's gone by, Waterfall has been a map that Zergs have, figured ways out to play on as well, and figured out how to do things, and they've not been completely kind of nullified just because they have to play on a map like Waterfall. So something worth keeping in mind, of course, as we do see this Reaper ping-ponging that drone, trying to get some damage dealt. Looking for another one here. 2 Spore Crawlers having to be made. Good start for ByuN, being able to force a couple of Spore Crawlers like that, as this Reaper is going to get forced out onto the map. And we just see an additional factory finishing up from ByuN back at home. So getting that completed, 3 CCs straight away. So despite the small map, is going to play a pretty eco-focused game. Not going to play anything too aggressive to start off with, at least. It's going to be seeing our starport starting up on the side of ByuN. So getting that starport online, command center coming through, refinery going online as well. All of this coming into play right now. As the Reaper and the Queen will have a little bit of a disagreement at the front. Wham wham, bang bang. A little bit of a fight. It's going to see some creep spread that could potentially go down the front here as well. We will see a creep tumor going down over on this side. It's going to get picked off. Reaper grabs that pretty quickly, so getting rid of the creep tumor is quite nice. Obviously, a kill there is something that just slows down that creep later in the game. It's one less tumor the Queens have to put elsewhere, for example. The earlier you deny a creep tumor, the more important it's going to be. You deny a creep tumor 2 minutes from now when there's loads of them out on the map. Yeah, whatever. But this first creep tumor being denied really does have that slowing effect on that Zerg creep spread. So, nice grab there. And ByuN continuing into some harassing units for the early stages. Hellions, Liberator. That is going to be his starting point. Let's just get all of that set up. And then obviously we'll see how well he can do. See what kind of damage he can find here throughout this first game. Oh yeah, the observer showing us the bushes dying as the creep overtakes them. Unbelievable. Hey guys, a couple of questions about the Chinese graphics and stuff. This is the Chinese event, and they provide a clean feed for us, which is amazing because then we get all of the graphics. I don't have to do any production work. We just get everything provided. We get all the cool graphics, player cameras, etc. The only downside is it's the clean feed that obviously the mainstream uses as well. So some of the stuff is in Chinese, which very minor issue. For all the benefits it gives you, absolutely not an issue at all. And shout out to the World Team League for season after season taking great care of us as casters and observers and making sure that we get given a high quality clean feed to work off of, because yeah, I mean, it just makes my life much easier. It makes, They leave the VODs up and available as well, so if I don't catch it live, we can do exactly this. We just bring up a YouTube video and we get to cast over it. And it's not like usually casting over stuff where, there's YouTube, there's commentary in the background, so you have to mute it. No, they provide this clean feed with just no commentary from the Chinese side, and allows us to produce as good a quality event or cast of this event as possible, because they want you to enjoy this to the best level. And this is a very serious tournament, and I gotta say as well, guys, their merch is popping off. I mean, I've seen a lot of people now saying and talking about how they've gotten some of the merch, gotten some of the WTL loot boxes, gift boxes, however you want to call it. They helped raise the prize pool of the tournament. In the last 2 seasons, they've raised over $40,000 each season because of the gift boxes, and the stuff inside them is freaking awesome. I'm still waiting on my one from the last season. It's coming in a separate package, I believe, but the one from the season before was already amazing. I've seen a lot of other people agreeing with that, so that's very cool. It's very exciting, and yeah, everything about World Team League is just awesome. The only thing that I wonder about World Team League is what it would have looked like if we'd never had COVID, because they were planning to have like offline matches, matches in at least they already had like offline playoffs. But they were thinking about sometimes like certain weekends of the season, like matches would be played in China, they'd fly players out and everything, so maybe in a couple of years, if World Team League's still around, we'll be seeing just how awesome that turns out to be still, because, yeah, that'd be really sick. Look at Cujo, thank you for the 26-month resub, as so far in this game, ByuN has unsuccessfully tried to harass with the Lib and the Hellions. Didn't really find much damage at all, Solo's been good on the defense, and he's been getting rid of some creep tumors, but that's been about it. That's been the real highlight of anything here, more or less. A little bit of creep being denied. As our Marine tank comes over, going to knock his Zergling down already. Well, Baneling Nest, Baneling Speed upgrade continuing through as well. As our 1-1 melee upgrades also continue into play. I'm just going to be seeing ByuN already starting to push, looking to line up this attack with his own 1-1 and potentially combat shields. Just going to get rid of a couple of creep tumors as our Lings come in from the right side. This is really bad for ByuN. Tanks are going to be caught immediately. He evacuates one into the medevacs. Obviously, fortunately, no Baneling speed. If there was Bane speed here, he would have maybe even just been completely dead, but turns out to be at least a little bit okay, as we do have our 2-2 upgrades start immediately from Solar. Yeah, that felt as though it could have been truly just game-ending even. Like I say, that was ByuN getting caught very off guard, not getting into position at all, and Solar just very quick to respond to ByuN's movements up until now. Put himself in a good position as... yeah, he's just not being caught off guard by anything. He's not giving ByuN any openers. Now, ByuN, if he doesn't have a great early game here, he is one of these players who is very, very effective at playing into a later game, and especially just kind of drawing the game out like really long. And as he takes 4th base, 2nd factory, armory, that starts to look to be what he will perhaps do. Obviously, at least for now, just going up to 4 bases. But on this map, 4 bases very quickly becomes, oh god, an amount of bases which you then just sit on and, get ghost with, and you just force the Zerg to run into you repeatedly. And that a lot of the time is all you're looking for as a Terran play, like I say, on Waterfall, because the Zerg just doesn't have endless bases to work with on their own side, so it makes that part of the game pretty tough for them. ByuN's armory was late, so 2-2 is late, and that means that given time here, Solar will have an upgrade lead as Solar supply not looking too hot right now. This pressure from ByuN is keeping up, and the counterattack didn't really find much. The one tank that got caught got evacuated straight away. Solar might just want to give up this location because it doesn't feel like he has the numbers to deal with it right now. He has a massive counterattack going across the map, which kind of suggests he will give up this base, but wants to find at least some counter damage for it. And evacuated a tank already. The drop in the main doesn't do much. SCV started to go down on the 3rd, and ByuN has to start fighting on this other side of the map. Otherwise, he's just going to take too much damage. Killing a base is nice, but losing 17 SCVs is very expensive. And we are going to see a few more Zerglings going down. ByuN still maintaining about a 20 supply lead in this game. Obviously, still a knocked down to 4 bases, and that's where ByuN will be on very soon as well. I think ByuN's biggest issue here is going to be 2-2. He's going to be down on upgrades. That means some of the upcoming fights might go Solar's favor. That said, of course, we're talking about a 50 army supply lead for ByuN, so maybe the upgrades just won't matter when the numbers are just that far apart. We'll see very shortly here as Ling Bane continues around. A few Banelings start to morph in. A few of these Marines around the right side going to start stemming forward and just going to get straight into this mineral line. Chunk of drones going down pretty much immediately here as Hatch should take some extra shots. Wow. Hatchery actually gets to survive, and ByuN losing some units to do this as well. Okay, he got some drones, but he's losing SCVs. Little Bane run by over here hits a lot. Didn't quite get the final baneling connection to finish off the extra 10 or so, maybe a little bit more than that. As ByuN obviously wants to finish off that base in the bottom right. It is so low. Queens are here, though, targeting down the medevac's units are here. And that's the dead medevac with Marines inside as well. And these couple moments have not been great for ByuN. He's going to try and lift up on this to this main base. Obviously, if Solar had lost his fourth, this could have been really concerning for him. Another medevac going to die just in range of the spore. It's full of Marines lifting up as it goes down. The last few moments have truly been disastrous for ByuN, and every single place he tries to attack, it just goes horribly, horribly wrong. Now these few Marines are just walking on the creep, and what's happening? Just completely falling apart here. The game looked great for him when you consider the army supply and so on, and yeah, I mean, everything that he's trying to do just feels like would have been better off as just one large attack. Because, yeah, this has gone horribly wrong. This base now being fully transfused up and is going to be very difficult to get rid of compared to what it was looking like originally. Yeah, this is just one of those moments where I feel like one thing goes wrong and like, oh god damn it, I can't believe that. And then as you're thinking that, the next thing goes wrong, you're like, oh god, because you weren't fully paying attention, because you were kind of sad about the first thing. And like I say, just that knock-on effect is absolutely huge. Tank going down. We are just going to be seeing the Bling Bane continue to run forward. Another tank getting picked off. These Banes still being grabbed, and our Marines will stim up a storm. Solo might have enough to break through. This is one of those fights where he has 2-2 upgrade lead, and obviously with the way the things went recently, he actually has an army supply that's worth fighting with as well compared to before. It looked like he wasn't going to have that. ByuN actually did have +2 armor during this fight, but now he's finished +2 attack. But I don't know if it really makes a difference. His third base going to go down. Obviously 22 SCVs in the bin as well. Any sort of counterattack has been completely stopped, and ByuN just types GG. This game truly fell away from him, and Solar is going to get the W. Take that one and be very happy with it, I imagine. GG's. Just a few short moments. And there it is. All right, top left-hand side. Blue Zerg player from Onsyde Gaming. It is Solar. Taking on a Red Terran in the upper right-hand corner from Shopify Rebellion, ByuN. Thanks for joining us today for some catch-up World Team League action, guys, as we get caught back up on this event from the first weekend. Obviously, more World Team League this coming weekend as well. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And, yeah, just in general, I mean, there's always great matches in the World Team League every single week. And, you know, even further down in the tables, some of the matches are really, really a lot of fun. I think this week my ones to watch out for have got to be actually at Friday's matches. Team Liquid taking on Alpha X. Good game gaming against Kaiser. Big opening matches there for both teams. And, yeah, I believe it's also the Shopify Rebellion against Team GP. Team GP are always a fun team to drop in on and to tune into. And I think the rest of them, I think maybe Sidestone play SSLT, but other than that, I think it's like Onsyde and DPG against some of the lesser favored teams. So, yeah, for week 2, there's definitely, I think the first day or two is actually going to be the ones to really watch out for. Should be a lot of fun. Although I just looked at the schedule. That's incredible. I just looked at the schedule and it turns out that there's no matches this weekend. They're on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. I guess that's because it's Chinese DreamHack this weekend, and that's SC Boy will be covering that instead, which means that the next week, I guess we get 6 days of WTL. Wow. Okay, well, I guess I'm kind of down for that because that gives me something to cast every day. So, yeah. Oh. Okay, well, I thought we were good, but that's interesting because then I actually had stuff planned for next weekend, but now I won't be able to do it, so I guess we'll just cast World Team League. That's actually fine. That works out okay. Wardy, can you recast or replay old GSL matchups? No, I don't have permission to do anything with GSL. GSL is obviously a bit weird as well because it's on Africa, so they don't want people to do stuff on other channels and so on. So it's a little funky, a little different. Also, as well, like restreaming GSL streams isn't fun because you would have the commentary from the original cast, right? So then you have to watch with no game sound and stuff, and I'm never a fan of that. That's why this is fun, because they give us the clean feed and everything, so it makes life easy to work from. So yeah. Man, I want to look at my schedule quickly and see if I need to switch anything around, because I did not realize we had WTL next week for 3 days. That's kind of funny. What do I have next week? Yeah, actually, that works out really well for me because I do DreamHack. No, that's actually really good for me. Actually works out great, huh? I see. Amazing. Alright, well, I guess I'll move my, I guess I'm gonna do a Korean event another time. Alright, well, for now, we continue through, get set up, and just gonna be having a few Hellions hanging around out on the low ground. Nothing too exciting just yet in this game. We do see Stim already starting off of a single rack, so it is going to be a third CC finishing up very shortly. ByuN initially start off by taking the in-base expand. These Hellions want to die for some drones. I mean, those few that are transferring look like easy pickings, and he gets 3 of them. A few Lings will go down, but it's going to cost you pretty much every Hellion, and this is just not worthwhile to lose that amount of Hellions early in the game, because Hellions are really important. Would you believe it if I told you? Hellions are really important. They're fantastic units. They can get so much done. Losing out on Hellions like that is a real shame. Yeah, I mean, that just puts you into generally a lot of trouble here more than anything else, so it's going to be a little bit rough for ByuN. Now losing map control, essentially. These few Lings are just saying, oh, do you have your third base down in location? Nope, not just yet. Well, that's fine. The longer you don't put that in position for, the better it's going to be for me, so Solo will be happy about that. Wow, look what he's doing. He's just massing Lings and getting the Bane Nest up. He's just going to Bane Bust. He's just going to Ling Bane because there's not really going to be many Hellions. And funnily enough, ByuN's actually building 2 more Hellions at a time in an armory, so it might actually turn out okay for him because he wants to go for Hellbats here. And then he's going to have Stim Marines plus Hellbats, so I don't think that's what Solo's banking on. Solo's banking on this, so now just being pretty much purely Marines because all the Hellions got cleaned out. So I actually kind of like it for ByuN. ByuN is accidentally going for the right thing here, but it obviously still depends on what his defense looks like. The Marines on the low ground, that's a shame because obviously you want these Marines to be protected to at least get some shots off, as the Hellions are kind of getting surrounded too. I mean, they're meant to be able to morph into Hellbats here to really help out. I know you want the mobility on them. As these Banes move up the ramp, we're going to get a depot, a reactor. This is still really not that bad, right? All these Lings are going to go down. It's a huge investment from Solar. I mean, it's a lot of Unity built instead of drones, and we only kill through SCVs, so that is going to be a very good situation for ByuN. It wasn't even ideal to start with, but it's just that's how good the build order was for him compared to what Solo was expecting to play into there. This continued production of Hellions absolutely was unexpected, and that's why Solo has done what he's done, and it's come to absolutely no fruition at all. So that's going to be a great defense for ByuN. And like I say, I love the plan from Solo. It's just unfortunate, because if ByuN wasn't building Hellions, he dies here. Absolutely, there's no way he defends that. And usually with 90% of build orders right, you'll stop building Hellions at that point. But because he's going for that essentially Hellbat Marine attack, he's actually going to have the Hellions then defend it. So really just, I mean, honestly, really just fortunate for ByuN. Plain and simple. Just fortunate build order choice on the follow-up of losing those Hellions. Hellions will just get rid of this creep spread. So a few active tumors in the center. That is one issue, right? That at least with having these Hellions at home for so long, that Solo's creep spread has kind of gotten a bit uncontrollable into the middle of the map. So a lot of the creep in the middle just being denied, being shut down. That obviously is not too pretty, as Hellions now morph into Hellbats on the bottom side. Going to wander over and jump on top of this hatchery, start to pick our way through this already. That's going to take some damage. Can we cancel out this 4th base? That would have been amazing. He's now going to start splitting against these Banes. When the Lings show up. The Banes actually did very well. They got pretty good connections. And supply overall is momentarily taking a lead, though, so really not bad for him still. Like I say, this is a shame because he could have had a 4th base cancelled here, and that would have been really nice because it would have slowed Solo down a lot. And then maybe even Solo, to quickly rebuild it, would have gone to the top side. And then it's obviously a much easier position for ByuN to push into with the Bioforce and just the parade push later in the game. So yeah, actually a really important save there for Solo. Saves him a lot of headaches for the next couple of minutes. Bane Nestos. I'm going to finish up Bane speed as ByuN pushes. 1-1 against 0-0 right now. Starting up that armor upgrade. At this point, I'm done even calling that a mistake, because it just happened so much that I don't even know if it's a mistake anymore, guys. Like, I mean, I even asked ByuN at one point, he's like, oh yeah, it's a mistake, but then he still does it. So then I'm like, is it a mistake, or is it like a 200 IQ play to go armor before attack? The age-old question. Very interesting. I mean, typically you get your upgrades in sync, but he always just starts that armor upgrade first. If they don't start in sync, he always goes armor then attack, whereas I feel like the natural thing for a long time was always to go attack then armor in TvZ, or any matchup, because Terran units just always attack from range, and then typically you're expecting it to be that attack upgrade which does better. Like I say, leave that up for debate as our medevac's going to evacuate and help this position to do what it can. Couple tanks here, well positioned too. Queen's tanking, transfusions going off. Making a bid for this base. We do have Solo once again counterattacking, just as we saw in that last game. Recognizing that one of his best ways to defend here is to get some damage done himself. Or to set up the mega flank, and he is going to come in from the other side. The medevac's just lifted up. He's going to actually unload the units back onto the base. Now, there's a few bailings back there, though, so as ByuN unloads, they get cleaned up as well. The base survives. Everything gets wiped out. What looked like the counterattack turned into the flank. And ByuN, like I say, was just lifting up and backing away at that moment. So even the units that he had over here were a little bit weaker than they should have been, and less numbers than they should have been, unfortunately. Marines unloaded to the top side, man. There's so much creep on this map now for Solar. This might be one where ByuN just want to slow it down, turtle up a lot, play a lot of siege tanks. Solar's on his way to Lurkers, so obviously eventually get to Ghost as well, but I think for the right here and now, you're pretty much just destined to have to play a very slow game compared to what you want to play. And you can see that ByuN was pretty invested on trying to, knock down the fourth and everything, but yeah, now it's not even about the fourth. Now it's about the fifth base that's coming online. It's problem after problem, really. As ByuN has a Liberator coming online too. Might use that for harass. Might even just use that to help solidify his defensive position back at home. Because again, we're expecting Solar to very shortly be able to start ramming and headbutting the defenses of the Terran player. Viper's on the way up. Adrenal Glands. Hydra's obviously Lurkers very soon too. These are all things which should help Solar to try and knock through the Terran defenses, take down bases, and just open up this map big time. Hanging up on the top side then, we're going to see some extra morphs coming in on that bottom side as well. The Nidus Network coming through, Ghost Academy setting up, a couple CCs coming online, the Liberator's coming online. Left straight back into the medevac and start to escape away through the top side. Unload on the watchtower, get rid of a Zergling. The Overseer taking a few shots of damage as well. And just working our way through that for the moment as Ling Bing continues across. Medevac loads, escapes back to the center of the map again. And just going to be seeing the few Marines standing strong against those Zerglings. A few Banes are going to get to roll in, and we actually lift up the Marines into medevacs to evacuate them out of there. Queen putting a little bit more damage out onto this medevac right now, and the Vipers could probably Parasite Bomb to clean it out, guaranteed, but just going to continue to go across the map for the moment. Solar has been waiting to pick his fight, of course. He hasn't got quite the upgrades he would want on his Lurkers. He's been waiting for Vipers, so it's understandable he's not gone yet, but obviously, you do want to start attacking sooner rather than later. You want to try and start denying bases, knocking down economy. Your own bank is already good to rebuild, right? So just don't give the Terran player the bank to rebuild as well. And here we go. No Lurkers with this first wave. This is just going to be Ling, Bane, Hydra. What a blinding cloud on that right side on top of 4 siege tanks. Unfortunately, the Liberators are not going to be busted down at all, and ByuN does get a pretty solid defense on round 1 of this attack. And that's obviously the best starting point you can have. this goes unnecessarily, but this is exactly what you need as ByuN. You want to hold positions, defend as long as you can. This is exactly what you need to be doing, and so far it's gone well. I mean, this was just round 1, but yeah, I mean, if you're going to step back into this game, you're going to need a few fights like that one. Solar Lurkers coming up, adaptive talents as well, so you'll have the Lurkers to help him with this next attack too. Everything else can kind of lead the Lurkers into the battle. It's typically one of the expected ways for that to go, so let's see as we start a run on forward, and just going to be seeing our units backing it up pretty much straight away there. There we go. Bane's going to start crashing through. Just going to be seeing the tanks getting blind and clouded. We're just going to aim for this base. SCVs are all still mining. It took a moment or so for them to start backing it up, and then 16 of them going down. And again, you want to shut down the Terran economy so that you can keep on mining a lot more in this game. He's already taken the bottom right corner too, so he's taking one of the bases that should be ByuN's. And that means that you're going to have income you shouldn't have. ByuN's going to be missing income he should have. That is a compounded effect to help the Terran play, to help the Zerg player out, closing games like this one out in general. More Banes morphing in here. We are going to go down to the bottom right side. Settling Bane Force wanting to try and move through. ByuN going to deflect for the moment here. We enter the 15-minute mark on Stargazers, so game definitely being drawn out, definitely being slowed down a good amount for the moment. And just a question of can ByuN continue to defend. These mules are all pretty much worn out, so not the worst loss. We will lose the planetary though, as the Bio stands strong, killing off a lot of the banelings that try and roll into it. So yeah. I mean, again, good trades for ByuN. Trades that, like I've said once and will say again, he absolutely needs, but yeah, he's going to push Solar back, force Solar into a big rebuild, and Solar loses this base on the bottom side, so he loses that location he's been working on for a little bit. Now, up through the center here, we're going to get rid of quite a bit of this creep spread, so a lot of creep starting to go down. Clearing out a whole bunch of this as we see our +3 melee upgrade finishing as well. +2 missiles is on the way. Bioforce want to gain back over to the right, just for the moment. Let's see, ByuN is on the 5 bases. Solar, I mean, even if he lost his bottom right base, he still has the gold in his favor as well. That's already one base ByuN doesn't get. That's not a base that's symmetrical elsewhere on the map, right? That is not a base that's repeated elsewhere. It is just the one of. This is coming from the 2 angles. Good blinding clouds hitting a lot of the tanks, so a lot of the splash taken out of the equation straight away. At this point, orbitals are good in these positions because it's nice just to be able to lift them up and to save the base. 16 SCVs down. ByuN still holding on though. Supply doesn't really move too much, as ByuN is going to ask for a quick. Alright, so we come back in, and obviously for us it wasn't very long, but for the players this was about a 4-minute pause. And as you see, Solar setting up with some lurkers and some Nidus. ByuN throughout this game has been pretty good at denying Niduses in the main. We've seen a couple of kind of remnants of those attempts and so on, so that's something that's kind of been going on in the background. I mean, the Nidus here is one you can't really deny from happening, and even going to try and get across the map for some aggression. As this game does slow down a little bit, it definitely feels as though we get into a bit more of a comfortable position for our Terran player. It does feel as though ByuN's definitely been taking good enough trades to be back on track. Problem is, eventually he still gets massively outmined with the way that things are going, so unless he trades like ridiculously well, he needs to eventually make his way down to that bottom right base. And if he can camp out that bottom right base eventually and mine that out, then he should be okay in the game. But that's going to be a big question mark, and it's definitely going to be one of the goals of Solar to stop ByuN being able to do that at any point in time. Going to be having our Hero Pirates on the way as well. Sling Fest is getting further improved. We see now Ghosts going to start pulling back because these Ghosts might get a little bit surrounded here. I guess Medivacs can lift up. If the Medivacs lift, they could get abducted as well. Apparently the energies have the Vipers have no energy because the Ghosts hit EMPs on them. This was still a little bit messy for ByuN. In fact, this was the worst fight he's had in a long time, just venturing too far forward. So 100 lings on the rebuild pretty much instantly. And ByuN's going to lose works on this base. He loses pretty much his entire ghost count. This just sprung out of nowhere. And Solar takes a massive victory there, denying this base and denying the ghost count especially. I mean, that's a really rough rebuild for ByuN. Honestly, a lot of this has been going well for ByuN, but I guess we really were just one bad fight away from it all falling apart again. And that was the absolute best fight that Solar has taken so far. As now we get set up. Well, this base still not going to be allowed to mine, and Solar will be able to start busting through towards the other 4 bases now if he would like to. So let's see if he will as he splits up to the left, he splits out to the right. He's going to get the few SCVs and mules that dropped off here. I mean, that's obviously fine. Forces this base to lift off one more time. Another 30 lings in production straight away. ByuN scraping his way back up as we do have Vipers that can start to drop some blind clouds. The first couple tanks getting hit immediately. The Ghost did get a snipe off from one of the Vipers. As we have a Liberator that's helping here as well. And Solar, I mean, Solar can just rebuild so much every single time. The entire map is covered in creep. He's already taken that bottom right base as well, which we've already seen him do once. And now he's going to try and do it a second time. Just have the Nidus up there going to finish up, and this unit still pressing forward. We have a tank that very nearly goes down, but not quite still. Just going to type GG's got Nidus in the main as well, and Solar is going to get the W as he is going to come through victorious here in this 2-game series, 2-0, but Onsyde gaming onto match point at the very least guarantees them an